get to that start zone that he and the race director have talked about, he's going to pull the trigger on the BMW, and then it's a drag race to turn 1.
It is Garcia on the front row. That number 3's been there for the last 6 races. Can they turn it into a victory?
Here goes Madison Snow on the throttle. Corvette Racing, Antonio Garcia. They know how to win here. Garcia outside in the number 3, but does not get a good start. The Mustang does.
Yeah, that's Harry Tinkler aboard the number 64. He gets inside Garcia there. Joey Hand on the outside as they go through turn 2. He drops a position down to P5 there in the second of the Ford Mustang GT3 machines.
Still a long way to go. And you talk about Harry Tinkler, one of the drivers in the field, Calvin, who has never been to VIR before. So when you think about Garcia behind him, Snow in front of him, they know this racetrack. They know how it races.
And on full attack again once more.
Talk about attack. There's someone's attacked the back of Kyle Marcelli in that Lamborghini because there are body parts that are missing there in the back. The back balance is gone. What happened to it? Well, there it goes.
Yeah, that's through turn 5 here on the opening lap, it looked like. Really hard to coexist through this tight sector of the racetrack. Looked like maybe that was Gallagher into the back of him. He still sits behind him, so he's got a similar view, admittedly without the rear bumper on that Lamborghini.
And obviously, here's another view.
Oh, they were Brendan Arebe. It is so tight there. They call it the snake as it wiggles around, then into those climbing S's. Just a beautiful ribbon of asphalt coming up here. Yeah, the 120 just went for a ride here because he's dropped about a handful of positions here. You can see he's really wide there. Just keeps it together. Fortunately, we haven't had much rain here this weekend, but typically if the grass is wet, let's take a look from the Lexus onboard here. Up in front is Elliott Skier. This is turn 10. Comes through here, gets a little bit wide, and then he misses his marks going into 11. He's late to the brake pedal, misses his turn-in point, and that's Hawksworth sliding down the inside. And Elliott Skier keeps it together, but was immediately under attack from Klaus Bachler.
Snow and Sellers, it's almost like a rock group that have been around forever. So many special memories, and that first win together as teammates came right here.
Yeah, it seems like an eternity ago now. It was 2016, and I think Madison and I were definitely a lot younger. He's still quite a bit younger than I am, but we've been fortunate to be able to do it together this long and be as successful as we have with such a great team like Paul Miller Racing and great partners along the way.
So many great wins, 5 last year in GTD, moving up to GTD Pro. But I understand there's been some controversy coming into the weekend. And if you could take a look at the monitor, I need you to give me your description here of what's going on, because it looks like someone, I wouldn't say cheating, would they?
I don't know if I would say cheating. I was trying to look for an advantage. My arms aren't long enough to reach to shut his engine off, but I was really trying hard. We were at a charity karting event for mental health, and it's an event Madison and I have done for quite a long time now, and just happy to be a part of that. They host every year here at VIR.
So basically a competitive advantage is what you were looking at more.
That's what I would say, yeah. I mean, he's a little bit taller, a little bit better looking, so I was looking for any advantage I could get over him.
Well, the biggest advantage of all, and the group that really won out big, was the Cameron Gallagher Foundation. A lot of money raised for teen mental health awareness. And boy, you know, you look at today, and what a great foundation that goes on and gives back, because that's certainly a growing problem with our teenagers today.
Corey Lewis watching on here from his young teammate, just 21 years old, the Italian behind the wheel right now. Did a superb job here in qualifying, but didn't have a great start, then settled in nicely. He was running in P2, and he had that little off there going through Oak Tree. Let's try and see how this one develops, Brian.
It's up in 11 and 12. It looks familiar, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. If you just miss your mark there, turning in through turn 11, you just run wide. Nowhere really recovering. As I said, it's relatively dry here this weekend. If it's wet, you're just going to skate straight into the tire wall there. But there's just enough room for him to escape that and get back on the track, but lost several positions.
This is down the back straightaway. You think the air over the car would push it down, but in fact, there's a low pressure area that's created there, and the door kind of comes up and is drawn into it. So
that is such a distraction. You got to be so on your toes around this racetrack, hitting your marks. He's feeling a lot of heat right now from Roman DeAngelis right behind him. Sorry, Zachary Robichon behind him. Yeah, and I think Hawksworth just came out of pit lane, so he probably didn't have tire temperatures right there, and Rowan just barges his way through there, turns Jack Hawksworth. And you also see the Roxy is ahead of the 23 cars. Take another look at how he gets into the side of Hawksworth. Just eats up the curb a little bit. So hard racing. How will the stewards judge this one? This is important here for our championship leader. See Hawksworth just trying to build speed here. He's just come out of pit lane.
You know, the different camera angles kind of paint a different picture. One of them looks one way, one of them looks another. Any way you look at it, though, the result is the same, and the result is...
Here we see the 23 car coming out of pit lane, and suddenly Lauren Heinrich has a head of steam. It laid down a couple of really fast laps on those fresh Michelins, and it caught the 23 car. And this is significant because they are the championship leaders of the 77, and the 23 is the closest competitor to them with Ross Gunn. But now the 77 car is going to have to disappear down pit lane to serve that penalty. So real roller coaster ride here today as they head up towards the roller coaster on this racetrack.
What's going on here with Loris Spinelli? He comes off at turn 12, heads straight in to the south pits.
Not sure if he was trying to dump some grass out of the radiator. We see that. We talked about keeping the grill clean in terms of one of the keys to victory. I'm not sure if he just elected to come down there. Didn't see anything fall out of it, so see a little bit off to the side there, so I think he may have had an off-course excursion and just elected to drive out there to try and hit the brakes rather than come down pit lane where you've got to suffice that pit lane speed limit of 60k per hour.
It was a great call on his part.
They did the undercut with Garcia and away down the road. Consequently, the overcut for Milner. The 4 car of Katzberg is a long way behind.
There's a look at Tommy.
Oh, there's a problem. Is that the 3 car?
It is the 3 car. 3 cars slowed on the racetrack, and there's going to be a problem for the 65. Dirk Mueller is perhaps in front of the 64 because he's going to get a penalty for failure to adhere to the minimum full refueling time. Drive-through penalty for the 65.
Wow, and that's a fuel rate. That's rate. Basically, it's not how much fuel is going to demand that you got to top him up, but the fuel rate was too quick. They had dated out. Obviously, Sims panicking here, trying to get some life back into this Corvette machine.
Calvin, they had told him to do a complete recycle to try to get it refired. They have now, but how much time have they lost on the racetrack?
Lost a lot, but I don't think they've lost a lap. He's gotten it refired, and you could see him working through the switches. These cars are so sophisticated. There's the 65 with the drive-through penalty. This is the time to do it. You need to really try to get by in the tight section here, because if you can't get by him before the climbing S's, he'll have the opportunity to get some more temperature, more pressure in those Michelins.
Yeah, really a cut and paste from what Rockenfeller experienced with Dirk Mueller when he came out of pit lane. Really tough to make a move here. Brian's going to try and position the car. Then we get through this kind of a one-line part of the racetrack up through the S's. And every corner is going to build more and more tire pressure, more and more confidence for Brian Sellers. So they did the overcut with the #1 car. Now they're going to get the benefit of that. They're going to be able to go a little bit deeper on this set of tires and have a much shorter stint to finish this race. So that's the price that the 23 car is then going to pay that has the lead right now. They've got much longer stints to get to the finish.
Can you describe some of the cool moments that you've experienced?
Yeah, it was a blast. I mean, these stock cars are a blast around a road course, and it was a good time to get out there. Obviously, hanging out with the King and hearing some of his stories was amazing. What a legend. It's very cool to have that kind of opportunity and that honor, really. And had a lot of good fun racing on track with all the guys, too, and hope to do some more.
Now, that car with the Adam Petty livery that Kyle Petty last ran at Martinsville, I believe in 2005, you had a pretty good weekend, a second and a first, so you leave here with some high hopes for more time in the NASCAR Classic.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, like I said, blast racing with him. Cars are a whole lot of fun. Great to get a win out of it in the big feature race. So, yeah, definitely hope to be back and do some more of that and see what other racing we do next year.
So you've been working on strategy the past 2 races. Will we see you back in the car at Indy? What's the plan looking down the road?
Yeah, I'll be back in the car at Indy and Petit, and then beyond that, I don't know. We'll see what the next year holds, but definitely looking for opportunities everywhere.
Well, Alexander Sims has taken the 3 Corvette back to the paddock. They're going to change out the power steering pump, catching up with Tommy Milner, who's gotten out of the 4 Corvette. When something like that happens, is it unique to that car, or is it a concern that it might be an organization problem where it could end up happening also to the 4?
Those things could happen, certainly. So they'll be keeping a close eye on our car. We didn't experience anything that the 3 car was experiencing, I guess, on track. So from our side, I think everyone's pretty happy and confident. Obviously, unfortunate to see that for the 3 car. But so far, our four Corvette's been running strong.
So Brian was telling us earlier about his personal automobile acquisitions and his budgets, and also comparison to this beautiful helmet. So walk us through the design, because it's a driver's signature. I mean, it's their identity. How did you come up with your design?
Yeah, so I've kind of the central feature a little bit is the starburst here on the side, something I've used on my helmets for a long time. A logo per se, something that I came up a long time ago. Yeah, but my helmet painter, Tyler Senarusa at Sensport Graphics, I worked with him for a long time now. Super talented guy, helmet painter. And working with Bell as well, which has been the most comfortable helmet that I've ever worn before too. So I like to play with my helmet design a little bit. So I know some guys want to keep it exactly the same. I like to mix it up every now and again. I've had a lot of luck in the past with the gold, so I went back to that this year. We could use some more of that luck today, I think, right now. But yeah, it's fun for me to kind of change it up a little bit.
Well, I love the gold leaf. I also love the stars and stripes and how it flows on through. And that also segues to, you're always patriotic, and it seems like when you guys come to Virginia, you always take a road trip and you head north. Where do you go and what do you do?
Yeah, well, this year we had a very cool opportunity to go to Quantico and see the FBI facilities there, where they train all their new agents. Got to see a lot of the facility, more than I could probably talk about right now, and more than they'd like me to share. We did spend a lot of time at TVOC, which is their sort of tactical evasion driving division of the FBI there, where all the new agents have to go through that. They all have to meet a certain time and not hit cones and things like that. So all 4 of us drivers have the opportunity to go there and work with their instructors and see how they teach these, not just the FBI, but others as well. So a fun kind of competitive spirit thing that we did as a team before the race this weekend. Learned a little bit, things that maybe we don't need to use here at the racetrack, but a lot of fun, and obviously us drivers made it super competitive right away. So yeah, an awesome opportunity to go there and see how they work.
Big battles going on here. We talk about the GTD Championship leaders being on the back foot. This is Philip Ellis right in the mix there. Maybe you got a little nudge there from Stephen McAleer.
And here's the problem, right, Calvin? You're back into a field of cars that aren't in it for the championship. They're in it for pride. Stephen McAleer is going to race you hard. That's what he does. One of the better drivers out there. He's the pro now in this Pro-Am combination, and he doesn't care about your championship.
Exactly. He's got no skin in the championship game. He's just trying to get this car as far forward as they can, try and follow up on their podium run. He and Sheena Monk at Road America.
See some damage to the front of that Gradient Racing Acura, and as you said earlier, they'll be switching manufacturers next year. Ella's now trying to get around the 120, and this is interesting. Adam Adelson behind the wheel of the 120 right now. That's the only car on those first round of pit stops, thanks to our brilliant statistician who pointed that out. Thanks, Rafa.
This weekend is all about Michelin. A Michelin Man statue greets fans walking into the paddock. And Michelin Man is even the trophy. This guy here will wave the green flag up there, showing Michelin's all in on IMSA, VIR, and utilizing motorsports as an important marketing strategy. The strategy is simple. Showcase track-to-street connections, partner with manufacturers, and use that data to develop better tires. This is all possible during an IMSA race weekend, as there are 100 race cars on Michelin tires across 16 manufacturers and 4 series at VIR alone, opening the door to one of the cooler experiences at VIR on the Patriot Course. Fans get the chance to feel the performance of Michelin tires with the partnership of Mercedes-AMG, BMW, Ford, Toyota, Lexus, and Hyundai, combining track-to-street connections and manufacturers with the goal of turning IMSA fans into customers. And that feels like standing on top of a podium of the Michelin GT Challenge. Now, Michelin Man and I are so jacked up about the Michelin weekend, we're going to have our own race here at VIR. Hey, what time is it?
I thought that was a statue of me. coming into the track there. I kind of feel like that sometimes
I'm
these
not
days.
going to go there. I'm going to be nice to
Yeah, I wonder how long Matt actually continued to run.
that was it.
I'm pretty
that
sure
was
it
it.
wasn't a lap.
Good stuff,
Brian,
Matty.
I made it about another 50 yards, and then Squad 51 came out with oxygen, and they were calling Rampart.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Matt.
The races that go by and by, you learn so much. And Joey Hand, you've been so much part of the development of this, and there's so much passion behind it. But does there also need to be a lot of patience when you bring out a new car like this?
Well, that's for sure. I mean, you've seen it. You know, we're all a group of people that want to win. You know, we've won together in a lot of these other programs, and so when you come out with a new car, you have to have a ton of patience. So you've seen what we've had going, but you know, this weekend we rolled out really good. We tested here last week and or a couple weeks ago, and we were pretty good. And even in the race, you know, we had a good car. This Ford Mustang was rolling. I tell you, it's so cool to see all the fans around VIR. A lot of people come up and say, man, that thing sounds so good. Man, that thing looks so good. Like I always say, it's full America right there. But yeah, it's been rolling pretty good. We leapfrogged in the pits up to third. I was saving tires in my stint, saving fuel, and it was looking good. Then we got a fueling time penalty. So, you know, Dirk's, we're watching here, he's catching the pack. I mean, we have pace, and so we'll see what we can do with it.
You talk about patience also, but that's being a dad. And your son Chase, I saw him earlier this summer, and you guys were on the Hand family vacation, just the guys trip though, going to the simulator, so much time spent, cool moments, because he's racing now. But when you guys debrief, you have to do it on FaceTime. He's a late model racer out in California.
Yeah, you know, I try, you know, I probably shouldn't be doing it, but I remote tune late models, remote tune go-karts and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. He graduated high school this year. He's, you know, he's wants to be a race car driver. He's grown up in it. My wife was a racer. You know, everybody does it. My daughter drives karts a little bit when she's not playing softball. But yeah, we went on the little tour. He did Watkins Glen with us. We went down the simulator prior to Chicago. He got some laps in there, and then we went to Chicago for the NASCAR race and had a blast. You know, had a great run there, running fourth and my best finish in NASCAR. So we were all smiles together. We had a really great time. But you know, racing's our life. We don't know anything else. I've been doing it for a long time, and that's what he wants to do. And so I'm really happy we get to travel around and do these things. You don't always get to do that with your kids. So we'll see. Well, maybe he'll be driving. His name will be on the side of the thing with Dirk Mueller and I.
So my daughter's playing in a soccer championship in Asheville, North Carolina. The game just started. I'm getting updates. You getting updates from Chase while on the road. I got to ask you, who is better at this age, Chase or Joey or Uncle Dirk?
That's always a tough question. When I was Chase's age, I mean, I think we raced a lot, but I hate to say I'm a scrappy one. That's what Chase knows. You don't want to race me for a win. I always say I'll wreck my wife, who's a good racer, for a trophy. You know, so I'm scrappy. He's really quick, and he's learned that scrappiness more and more.
When the smoke stops, it's not because the leak stopped. There's the problem. Yeah, that's what happens when you keep going for another lap.
Wow, and he is dumping it big time. This is going to make a real mess of this racetrack. That's our leader right behind him.
Wow, you don't want to see that, that's for sure. And stays out of the way, stay off the line there, and full course yellow is out.
This is exactly what Brian Sellers did, Madison Snow did not want to see right now in terms of the smoke right in front of him, but a full course yellow. Seemed to me like he was just dumping oil up there through the high-speed S's.
It's interesting. A lot of smoke out of the exhaust, and I couldn't tell. It looked like it was coming out of the exhaust, Calvin.
That caution throws away that little over second cushion. I walked up and you had your head down. Can you describe just when the caution came out, how far your heart sunk and what went through your mind?
Well, it was kind of thankful actually, because when we boxed, we had to do just a small fuel save to get to the end. So now Mick's going to be able to push to the end. So yeah, we had a little bit of a gap there, but I think now that we're going to be able to push, hopefully we can open that gap up, and thankfully we have a McLaren bit between us and the 27 there. I'm just putting all my faith in Mick. I know he can do it. He's done it before, so first time really in the opportunity. Well, we've been in this opportunity many times to win with this team, but we really need this for the team today with Gorthoff and Mercedes. So hopefully we can bring one together to give it to the guys here.
So we were looking out the windshield of the car on the in-car, and there was a massive yellow spot.
Yeah.
How distracting was that when it hit?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you can see it right there. It's right just almost in the center of the car. It's a much bigger bug than normal, so it must be something in the Virginia area that pertains to massive bugs that were quite distracting. But it smashed the windshield. I was like really hoping they would wash it off, but you know, in the end, they didn't have time to.
Good luck, and Brian, I really want to go there with the line, but I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, no, I'm not going there either, Matt, but I'm surprised they didn't have a tear-off on there that they could pull off.
I was going to say, normally there's a number of tear-offs that the team will elect to peel that off and give you a clear view.
We've seen it before. We saw it.
Dirk Mueller's got a huge run here on Ross Gunn. Look at this, side by side as they cross the stripe. You're allowed to do that before the stripe here on a restart. Now Mueller's trying to pull over here. Gunn is back on the attack, goes in there super deep. Takes that position back as they enter turn 1.
Well, yeah, and you wonder, did he start that move before the green flag flew? It doesn't really matter because Gunn has taken the position back. And you know, right now it is press ahead, and you see the McLaren there. I believe the Aston's still behind it, can't get by, and that's going to help Grenier a little bit. But he's got the Ford just in front.
Yeah, but I think for Roman DeAngelo, he's got to be careful. Corey Lewis was on the attack there, and the number 55, that bright blue Mustang there, sitting in P3, our pole-sitting car, has still got pace here at the end of this event as well.
It certainly reset a lot of the championship picture. And Russell, when you look at the course of a season, 4 wins, a second, it's been stellar. It's almost like you guys were due for maybe a little bit of a hiccup day, but as usual, did you guys grind it out and leaving here maybe not as bad as it could have been?
No, absolutely. I mean, you can't expect to, you know, win every race. I mean, as much as you want to. I mean, there's some really great competitors out here, and you know, everybody's, you know, pushing to the limit to try to, you know, be up front. So, you know, you can't expect to always be up front. But you know, Philip's doing an awesome job, and you know, cards are kind of unfolded our way. That yellow was really nice for us, and has actually moved us up into a position right behind Turner, which, you know, looking like halfway through the race was looking like we'd lose a lot of points, and now if Philip can, you know, keep the rest of the guys behind him, you know, we'll still have a pretty good championship lead. So it's looking good so far.
Effort equals results. Testing at Indy, new shop, testing at Road Atlanta for the run to the championship. This has been a spectacular year. Anything special looking at going into the Petite? Any change up?
No, I don't think any change up. I mean, you know, I'm looking forward to the last 2 endurance rounds. I mean, the Mercedes-AMG loves these endurance tracks. I mean, we were really fast at Indy. We won last year, you know, so, you know, I think, you know, that'll suit the car a lot better, and I'm really looking forward to driving there. I mean, right now, just plugging away one day at a time, and, you know, hopefully we can get that championship.
Good luck the rest of the day. Go grip.
There have been reason to kind of catch your breath. It started with this, the 55 off.
Yeah, his teammate went off there early in the race. That's Corey Lewis now behind the wheel, and what happened there, Robbie Foley got around him. Philip Ellis did at the same time, but then Lewis was able to get back on the power and retake that position back. So in terms of championship picture, it actually helps the Turner Motorsport group by gapping them to Philip Ellis by 1 more car.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hold your breath moments there, because then you saw them side by side again. This race is far from over. 18 minutes to go, but anything can happen at any time in this. Oh, and Lewis again with a problem.
Wow. That was entering turn 5. They just loses the rear end of that car, and now Spinelli's right on the tail of Ellis, and I'm not sure Philip Ellis will like that picture, but...
No, it's what I was saying. Anything can happen at any time. When you get that late race caution, it puts the field together, and here's Corey Lewis, just kind of gets out there right on the edge of the racetrack, loses grip. And I looked at the radiator opening, Calvin, keep the grill clean. You were talking about barbecues at the beginning as one of your keys to victory. He may have a problem.
Yeah, and he just dropped those left sides there, just lost that grip right as you're fully loaded as he turned into turn 5 there and went for a bit of a ride. Nice catch, great car control, but lost several positions there.
And there has been a change in the order in GTD, and this is big in the championship, Calvin.
It really is. Big battle here between Robbie Foley and Philip Ellis, and there you can see coming through the snake. Ellis has already gotten by Foley, and then Foley gets taken for a ride by one of the Corvettes there, so that's a huge point swing. And this means that Philip Ellis and the Winwood Racing team, let's see how this develops here. Into turn 4, he goes to the outside. Oh, that was really wedging his way through there. There really wasn't a gap, and Philip Ellis created one there. I just call that hard racing. I think the 4-car didn't do Foley any favors, but I think the 57 move on the 96 was just good, hard racing at this stage of the race and at this stage of the season. And That moves them up into P4. That means this season, Brian, we talk about their 4 wins, but more significantly, only one time outside of the top 4 this year.
This is the way the race started, Calvin. At the drop of the green, Madison Snow already had a couple of seconds, and there's a problem for the 12. That, I believe, is there at Oak Tree.
Parker Thompson behind the wheel. It's a problem area, as you know. You just get a little bit wide through there. You can't make it turn, but did he get nudged off as well? There's a lot of argy-bargy starting to happen at the end of this race.
It's getting a little bit crazy back there, so we'll have to see if Parker Thompson got help. There is the white flag. 1 lap to go for Madison Snow. And Parker on the move in the 12.
Yeah, that's a big one. Look at the rear wings damaged as well. He didn't just nose it in. That was a much bigger incident than we thought when we first looked at it. Rockenfeller's done a great job of escaping the clutches of Ross Gunn. Sitting there in P2, but Madison Snow, 3-second lead, total control.
See if we can find out what happens to Parker Thompson. Top of the shot, I believe. No, right there at the bottom. Just slides wide. We've seen that incident today, and we saw drivers escape. Parker Thompson just a little too far off the racetrack and could not get it back.
Yeah, rear then front.
So that damage is done, and for the rest of the field, the damage may be done because Madison Snow has clear racetrack in front of him. Madison Snow started off qualifying with a new GTD Pro track record. Broke the one that Ross Gunn held from the drop of the green. He was off and running, extended his lead out, handed the car over to Brian Sellers, his longtime teammate and dear friend. And Sellers will celebrate as well as Madison Snow out of Hogpen for the final time. The team on the wall. Paul Miller Racing, BMW, Madison Snow, Brian Sellers. They'll take the checkered flag, their first win in the GTD Pro category. And talk about emotion. What about this? The 32, Mikel Grenier, Kitten Cook, his co-driver this weekend. This is the first win in IMSA WeatherTech sports car competition for this team, and emotions running high. That's what motorsport is all about, and you can still remember it, Calvin, what it felt like to take that first victory.
Oh, it's so special, Brian, and they've been digging deep. The level of competition in this championship right now is immense. It doesn't come easy. That was a great day for them.
A hug from his brother from another mother, Brian Sellers. Madison, when you look at this weekend and the total domination, these come across your career, everyone career, so few and far between. What's going to mean the most to you waking up tomorrow looking back to today?
I mean, it's an overall win in GT at VIR. It's pretty spectacular. So it's going to take a while to sink in, but I'm glad I was able to do it with my my best friend Brian.
When you look at today and how it shuffled the entire championship standings, unofficially around 111 points, going into it's everybody's ball game now. What did this team learn last year to set them up for this year and a possible GTD Pro Championship?
I think you just have to have resilience. You have to have fight, and I think that's what we've had so far up until this point. You know, you got to ride the waves, the ups and downs, and you got to be able to take advantage of wins when they're presented to you, right? And I think what you saw from the team today was just that. And I think Madison delivered a great performance all weekend, and just super proud of everyone at Paul Miller Racing.
2 races to go. The team that's won 2 GTD championships now chasing a GTD Pro. They've got a great shot. And Mick, 0 for 28 coming in. Every driver dreams about what their first win will be like. On the cool-down lap, what images went through your mind about the journey to get here today?
No, I'm very happy, mostly for the guys. They've been working really hard. We have a few big wins that slipped away at the last moment. Either with strategy, pit stop, contact on track. I just felt the luck would never come, but in the end, you make your own luck in racing. And today we did perfect race. Kenton was amazing on fuel save, so that gave us good pit stop time. We still had to save a bit at the end, so it wasn't easy, but then the safety car saved us. And yeah, good job by the team. And it's also good to win because we're, I think, on pace, not the quickest, but we did a good job.
All right, what a day they've had. A lot of emotion here in the 32.